very stellar design of the October Town Hall 2024. Another exciting day in the world of Emblem. We did a lot of work this time. So what's the agenda we got going on here? We got October. We're going to review what we did this month. We're going to cover Emblem Vision, Emblem Markets, Emblem 2.0. That's kind of common. We've been doing that every month now. We're going to cover Televault, which had a very successful launch, which was very awesome to see. A lot of information around Koval and the expansion progress program. And then, what we're going to look for in November. I would say towards the end, because there's going to be a lot of information just all around the board. So very exciting time. In October, what happened? We held the Emblem Morning Show, which we do 3 times a week from Tuesday to Thursday. We had some very awesome guests on: Fractal, Unicross, Ordzar, Omnity Network, Mintify, Inscriptopedia, Televault, and Adam Krellenstein. That was an awesome counterparty space this Monday. I always love listening to all of the drama going on in XCP land. Some guest appearances between Adam and myself: Crypto Vigilante, Ordinal Revolution, Merlin Mondays, Emmy XC, and XTO Ord. So all around, we were making some moves. Some of the development that happened in October: Televault launched. We saw a new Emblem Vision UX, which I'll show you here in a little bit. Pushed a lot of Emblem market updates this month, like a ton. Multi-asset migration tools built, so we can finally migrate those remaining. It's about 1,000 or so legacy vaults across Rare Pepe, Fake Rares, and Spells of Genesis. A lot of value there. It's probably still $10 to $20 million in value sitting there that needs to get migrated over, including I think there's 70 Nakamoto cards or something like that. Like an insane amount of value just sitting there. The Emblem, we're creating a new Emblem Pro website that is currently underway. The design is done and the web development is now beginning. We also started our Halborn audit, right, so that we can successfully roll out Emblem 2.0. And that is currently underway. That should be done in the next few weeks. We will post the completion of that when that is done. And then we announced, or I guess Arbitrum announced, that we have been accepted into their grant program. Arbitrum is the #1 Ethereum L2, although Optimism is now giving it a little bit of a run for money. Adam, what was your favorite conversation this month? Who was your favorite guest that we had on the morning show?
Oh, God, man. Where do we even begin? I'd say for me, discussing the fractal Bitcoin, obviously, because that's something that with Bells we're trying to really bring forward, and that help connect with some more peeps in that space, people building stuff. So for me, that was a big one. But obviously, the big one for Emblem is the Televault, like just us being able to bring fungible assets across chains. I just think we're just the iceberg is just peaked out above the waterline, right? And so yeah, that is obviously the most exciting. We see what's happening with stables. Anybody bridging assets across chains, we had that huge acquisition just a couple weeks ago. Anybody who's doing that and can do it successfully, you've got an incredible winner, and we have an opportunity there. So it's pretty awesome.
That we do. I did go on the Crypto Vigilante. That was a 2.5-hour crypto podcast. I think that's the longest crypto focus show that I've ever done. That was quite interesting. I recommend people going to watch that. So what do we got? Emblem Vision. We've been dedicating Q4 to Emblem Vision. Q3 we dedicated to Emblem Markets. Now Emblem Vision is getting some love. The UI UX update has been finished. I got that on the next slide we'll go over. Koval and NFT Pass discount program has been discontinued. We have been mentioning this for a few months now, right? There was a certain amount of Koval that you had to own to get a 50% discount. There was an NFT Pass discount as well from a previous promotion. Both of those have been discontinued so that we can now build new tokenomics for Emblem 2.0 and everything that's coming. The vault activity, we had close to 600 vaults minted over the last month, about 80% of those being Rare Pepe. Then you have Spells of Genesis and Fake Rares. That's generally the amount that's right on par. So the focus for the remainder of Q4 is the development of our simple mint interface. So what exactly is that? We're going to drastically improve the vaulting experience, and we've got it down. We've got the new process down to about, I don't know, 3 clicks or so. And this includes bulk minting that's being built into it as well. So basically the kind of idea is you'll type in emblem.vision, you'll be presented with this minting interface. You'll choose the asset that you want, the blockchain you want it minted on, and the amount of vaults that you want to be minted. And then you're just presented with the X amount of wallet addresses, and you just click and boom. It's very quick. So the goal for that is to onboard normies, hopefully. Outside of that, Emblem Vision has got a really cool improvement, which I have here pulled up on the screen, or I recommend going to emblem.vision right now, and you can see that there has been a facelift, and now it matches emblem.markets. We've simplified some things to make it, to reduce the, to get to the least amount of clicks as possible, following in Amazon's footsteps of the one-click checkout. So if you're pulled up, it's a little bit of a tutorial that you can see. The UI looks really good. The interface is really slick. And the in-vaulting experience has been changed a little bit from what you had saw on emblem.vision or emblem.finance. You can now get directly linked to Emblem Markets inside of every vault. You can see the minting activity across the entire network and unvaulting activity. So you can see if somebody's minting a vault to Solana, Rare Pepe vault to Base, etc. I'm just forecasting out here in the future. You can filter by the vault action type. You can filter by the collection. So this gives all of the traders and minters different types of tools now at their disposal. And then the cool part of the leaderboard that we added is you can now click on a user's wallet and it'll take you right to emblem.markets. So you see that top wallet that has 1,500 vaults or so. Click on that on Emblem Vision. It'll take you right to Emblem Markets, where you can just see their entire collection. If you want to throw a bid out there, or maybe want to purchase something that they have listed, we believe that will have truly a major benefit to collectors and traders and minters across the space. Adam, what's your take on the new Emblem Vision design?
It's so coming from what Emblem was in 2021 to today, it boggles our mind. Like if we had this in 2021, holy cow, bro.
Game over.
It would have been game over, right? But we have it now. This was like the promise, right? This was the promise to, early Emblem supporters. Like, this is what it is. It's a cross-chain marketplace, basically the best one in the world, right? And it's amazing. And obviously we're moving towards the entire space. The entire crypto space is moving towards this, seamless interoperability. Don't have to really know my wallet, multiple clicks, just trying to make these things almost invisible. And we're moving there quick. So super proud of Shannon for building this thing out. It's incredible.
Yeah, really, really good job by the team. So moving over to this next one, if I could get down here. Emblem Markets. Emblem Markets is now a 0% marketplace fees. So you can go ahead and list a Rare Pepe on Emblem Markets. And if somebody buys it, there's literally no listing fees. It doesn't seem to have moved the needle recently, to be honest. But what I've noticed is all these marketplaces offer 0% marketplace fees. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're going to continue with that moving forward because we believe that, hey, if you're going to spend $20 to vault something, then you should, have access to all of our tooling, for a discount or for free. So the incentive is, hey, pay $20 to vault a CryptoPunk, and then you could go list it for free, right? Or you do the same thing with a Rare Pepe or a Bored Ape. Then the opposite of, hey, if you just don't vault it, you could go list on a native marketplace and pay 2.5% on a high value asset. The choice is really yours, but that is something that we want to offer to our community moving forward. Really just probably really good for high value assets and over-the-counter trading.
Yep.
And over time, we're going to continue to improve Emblem Markets so that it's truly a chain agnostic marketplace. It's going to take some time, but that's what we're building. there's about 11 different updates that had happened. And I'm not going to read through all of them, but it's a lot. Things from the homepage has been completely revamped. The application page has been revamped. The inside of vaults have been fixed. There's all types of bugs that have happened, right? And they have all been fixed. So now it's a nice and smooth and slick experience. From the amount of volume that happened over the last 30 days, 370 ETH in trading volume. So what's that? That's like $750,000 in trading volume. That's probably the highest that we've had since Emblem Markets opened. So that's really, really good. And of that 370 ETH that's been traded, 230 of that was Rare Pepe, 123 of that was a Spells of Genesis. So those are still the two leaders in terms of vault volume. But as we expand to new chains and new collections, that should improve. So now here's one of the big things that we've been building towards, Emblem 2.0, which is actually near completion. So what exactly is Emblem 2.0? So to start, we had moved our, as you call it, key management system from Web3 auth to Lit protocol, which offers all kinds of cool functionality. Shannon is very excited and has some cool offerings that we're going to build with this. What comes with Emblem 2.0? So first is non-custodial smart vaults. So there's two different things. So non-custodial vaults means that Emblem has no participation in the key management system. So with Emblem 1.0, this is a little technical, but just to explain it. So in Emblem 1.0, Emblem held one key shard across a giant node network of all of the keys to all these different vaults. So Emblem couldn't essentially get into your vault, but it holds one, right? So it's part custodial. But in this new system, Emblem does not hold any of the key shards. There's no participation. There's literally no opportunity for Emblem to rug you. Essentially, the idea, or like the scary idea of Emblem 1.0 is like Emblem has to convince all of these nodes to reassemble the keys, and then we can rug you and take all your stuff. But obviously that never happened. And now in this new system, that absolutely cannot happen. It's like literally impossible. And then a smart vault is putting a smart wallet inside of a vault. So essentially you're putting a smart contract inside of an NFT. And if you just think about that and like the ramifications of that, it might not be clear now, but it's basically tokenizing a smart contract, which means you can pretty much do anything, which we're going to share some of that here in a second. What else does come with Emblem 2.0 is NFT jumping. So if I have a Rare Pepe on ETH and I want to move it to Rare Pepe on Sol, I just pay an Ethereum transaction and it gets jumped to Sol. And then if I have my Rare Pepe on Sol and I want to move it to Bitcoin, I just pay a Sol gas transaction and it gets moved to Bitcoin. And, that's really exciting because now users reduce friction, and then you can go basically get yield on your NFT across dozens of different blockchains. If I have a CryptoPunk I paid $100,000 for, I can go use that on Blast to farm points, and I could go use it to farm things that are happening on Monad, to Bitcoin, to etc. And you get to go actually find better rates, right? So if you're selling a Rare Pepe for $500,000 because you got like a 1 of 1 or something, you can go find whichever marketplace you want across all these chains to find a 0% marketplace or wherever the highest liquidity is. So it's really a positive for net users. Emblem is going to be using something called oracles, which is something like what Chainlink does to aggregate data and funnel it to the blockchain. A really cool thing is that we'll be able to deploy to any blockchain or L2 here. So we could deploy on Bitcoin, we could deploy on Dogecoin, we could go to Bell's Coin, we could go to Ethereum, mainnet, Blast, right, on the L2, or Degen L3 chain, Solana's eventual L2s, whatever. As long as it has a token and a wallet, then Emblem can deploy there. So really, really exciting there. Some cool stuff with the 2.0 functionalities. You can sign you can sign with the wallet address inside of the vault. And I have a video I'm going to show you here in a second. What does that mean? That means, you know, if I have in one single vault a Bitcoin address, a Bitcoin wallet, a Ethereum wallet, and a Solana wallet, and I have, you know, 50 different NFTs inside of them, I could go sign a Solana transaction to show ownership of all of the assets inside of the vault. So if you get airdrop stuff in there, right, then you could go and claim and have some cool cross-chain functionality there. We also are building AI agent capabilities and tooling. These are things like LLMs that interact with the smart vaults, also with API vaults as well. I have a video I'm going to show you here in a second to kind of dive into that, because it's going to be a little bit more of a tangent. So what's the progress that we have of Emblem 2.0? That the actual tech, the vault itself is pretty much complete at this point. Deploying Emblem on Solana is currently in testing. Emblem on Bitcoin is in development. And then our audit is still in process. So I hope I didn't bore everyone with some of the technicals. You know, Adam and I and Chris, we talk about this a lot, that you have all these cool features, but at the end of the day, you still have to explain to people, or you still have to show them, you know, what it is. Like this whole slide alone really opens up a lot of cool programmability that literally doesn't exist, but we still have to show it.
Yeah, dude, this is so, I mean, like it hurts my mind to try to figure out the potentialities. Like even the most simple thing, which is the jumping feature, dude, people haven't played around. This has not happened. Like anybody listening to this space, everybody you know in crypto, this has not happened yet. Like we invented this sector, like the ability to jump NFTs across chains. This is us. We're the only ones. And so how people are going to use this, nobody on earth knows yet, because nobody's built anything like this yet. Right. So, I mean, that's just like the tip of this massive iceberg of what we have. It's, if you're not bullish Emblem, bro, you are insane, man. This is like, I'm so pumped, bro. It's incredible, dude.
Yep. You could tell the whole industry is pumped by interoperability with the amount of listeners, audience members we currently have. It'll be apparent next cycle, but
bro, that's when you know you're so early. It's just, yeah, you just got to survive, and we know that, man. You just got to survive. 100%.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna show a video here, which is really, really exciting. So this is something that we're calling Emblem Fusion Management. Maybe the name will change, maybe it won't. What you see here on the screen is an Emblem 2.0 vault. This is a smart vault. So you see here on the screen, there's a key shard for Ethereum. You have Bitcoin Legacy, which is like with Rare Papes. You have Taproot wallet, and you have a Solana wallet. And then down here at the bottom, it says sign. So sign with the Ethereum wallet, sign with the Legacy wallet, sign with the Taproot, sign with the Solana. So what does this mean? This means, right, that you can sign, and you, again, I explained that before, with if there's any asset inside these vaults, like a Solana NFT, Bitcoin, etc., and you need to go sign for a transaction to receive an airdrop, right, or for something that's token gated, like if you have a Bored Ape in here in this vault and you're on Ape Chain, then you could go sign with the vault to then enter any token gated environment where you need the Bored Ape to get through, right? So simple things like that. The cool part here, it says an API key, and you can generate this. So what you can do, and we'll post another video and signups for this, and we've tested this, you can generate an API key for the vault. And what you can do with that is you could take the API key and you can feed it to an AI agent or an LLM. And then you can have the AI agent process transactions on your behalf of things inside the vault. So if you feed, I'm just going to use an example here. If you have ChatGPT, you give it the API and you say, hey, I want you to send the Bored Ape out of this vault to this Ethereum address, then it'll process the transaction on behalf. Or if you say, hey, I want you to take the 3 ETH in this wallet and I want you to swap for USDC on Uniswap, it'll do that. And we've actually tested some of that already. And so, there's a little bit more to the video here, but I am going to answer the hand to After Party. Appreciate you for waiting and joining the conversation. Do you have a question about anything so far?
Yeah, hey, how are you guys doing? Thank you for letting me up, fellas. I appreciate everything that Emblem Vault does. Quick question: anything for like interoperability for ETH on base ETH, right? Because you know the transactions are a little bit cheaper on base ETH instead of regular mainnet ETH. Also, another question: can I add an API to mfpers.com for our people to like directly vault through our website?
Okay, so the question is interoperability of base ETH to mainnet ETH. Right, so you have a bridge. I mean, you can vault base ETH here and then have it converted. I think it depends on like what specific type of interoperability function are you looking for. But then second, with the API of this vault, yeah. So if you have a vault here, like this 2.0 vault, and you create it and you generate the API key, you can feed it to anything that you want. You could feed it to an LLM agent. You could put it on a website. It's up to you what you want to do, you know, with the API key. People do some really cool stuff with it.
Also, question: is there a way for, let's say, because I'm asking questions for MFers in particular, can we have our own collection listing on OpenSea separated from inscriptions?
Yeah. So actually, Adam and I had reached out to somebody in the MFers community. Maybe we could start this conversation again. We wanted to deploy a MFers collection on base so that MFers can then vault or bridge, whichever terminology you want. They can bridge your MFers from ETH mainnet to base, and you can just have them traded on base. Is that something that you guys would like to do? I can message you after this. We'll talk more.
Yeah, for sure. But more for MFers.
Oh, MFPers. Yeah, you could do the same thing.
That one for inscriptions.
Yeah. We actually talked. So we talked. Adam and I had a conversation with Michael and Tom and Jeremy like a month ago, and we were talking about either taking MFPers and doing a vault on ETH inscriptions or on Facet, or doing it or offering MFPers collection on base. So we could definitely do both, and I'd love to support MFPers and do it for, you know, either chain that you guys would like to do.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna have Virtual Alaska reach out to you as well, since
Sure.
he's the founder and kind of like the dev, and then maybe we could work something out, my brother.
Awesome.
Yeah, just have them DM us so we don't forget. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Yeah, that's funny. That's not the second time that's happened specifically for taking NFT collection to base. That seems to be where everyone wants to be. Maybe it's that Coinbase liquidity. So exciting times. Yeah, this is the power of Emblem 2.0 here. So, you know, going back to this video, you can see that I've created a vault, and then as the vault is created, you know, there's different key shards, right? These are the different wallets that are inside of the vault, and then you can sign, you can generate the API key. I didn't do this in this example, but the really cool part, and we have some people signed up for the AI component. Here I've paused. There's a transaction tools tab, right? So these are types of actions and things that you could do inside of the vault. So it's really like, it's a fully executable, decentralized wallet, tokenized wallet, right? It's a big kind of, it's a big mouthful of a lot of buzzwords. But on here, you can see there's a transaction builder, right? So you can create and sign custom transactions. You have a transaction history, so you could see the transactions of things that you issue inside of the vault. You have a gas calculator, and then there's batch operations as well. Moving over, there's another tab that's called Manage API. And these are like the things that you could do where you could feed the API, as we were talking about with Afterparty. So here there's a whitelist manager, there's a recovery setup, there's spend limits, there's conditions. That's more on the programmability side. And then there's a tool maker as well. The cool part here is that when you click on the manage whitelist, there's opportunity to do this for any chain. You can whitelist addresses. So here we have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Merlin, Base, Polygon, Solana, but you can add any custom EVM chain. So all of the assets that you have held inside of the vault, you can, feed the API to. You could feed the API to an LLM, and then just basically talk to the LLM, and you could manage your entire wallet through talking to an AI agent, which is really cool, because then the AI agent can also give you trading recommendations as well. And you can also set time conditions where, let's say I'm a business. This is just one example. Let's say I'm a business that's operating, and I store, all of your treasury inside this vault. You can basically you could set time condition payments to the LLM or the AI agent to just basically automate payments based off of a certain gas limit. You could say, hey, if gas drops below 10, make sure you send, $1 million to Adam because he's done a good job, or, different types of things like that. It's a huge blue ocean.
I mean, dude, when I went to, I guess this was a year ago, I was at a conference and I met a guy. That one thing you just mentioned was his entire business, was like drip payments, was an entire like business that he raised money for and was building out in crypto. And that it's like just this like part that Shannon built over a couple of weeks is like, it's bonkers, dude. It's literally bonkers. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy what's possible now.
Yeah, the crazy part is you could also trade this wallet.
Totally. Yeah.
Right? It's also tokenized. So, you have this AI agent that's, executing trades inside of this vault based off of the assets that are inside. And then you could literally just trade that wallet with, with everything inside. So, you can tell the LLM agent, hey, here's 5 ETH or whatever. I want you to execute these types of commands with the goal of attaining a CryptoPunk. And then once you, acquire the CryptoPunk, then list it for, list this vault with the CryptoPunk inside for 40 ETH or 50 ETH or whatever. And it just does it all automatically. Right. So that's probably a little bit in the future, but these are the types of AI stuff that is the next step towards what you see with like meme coins. Like, right, with me, the AI meme coin craze is just an LLM on Twitter, but it's completely disconnected from the actual crypto assets themselves. Here you have the LLM actually interacting with the crypto assets based off of your commands. So really exciting times, and we'll have more information about that here in the near future. So Televault launched on October 18th, so 2 weeks ago. This was Emblem's first ever native dApp. So this is the first application to ever use our SDK to build something awesome. And they launched with VBells. And basically what VBells is Bells Coin, which is a UTXO based asset, was able to bridge to Ethereum without any multi-sig required. So this is really the first time that's ever been done. Right now, the only way you can take UTXO assets and bridge them to Ethereum or a virtual machine is you do wrapped Bitcoin, where something like BitGo takes custody of your Bitcoin, or you have like a multi-sig bridge where all of the assets themselves exist in one wallet that's held by a multi-sig, and then they issue tokens on the other side. This time it's, you vault 1,000 bells or 10,000 bells into a vault, which is then deposited into Televault. And so then all of these bell vaults have their own, key management system, which is governed by Emblem 2.0. So a little bit more decentralized. There is a little bit, there's a little bit more friction to it right now, but both teams are working on really simplifying the process. Some cool stats though, over 1 million in TVL. We have over 1% of all Bells coin that currently exists. I think it's like 1.5% is currently through the Televault bridge. We have about 60,000 in the LP pool, and you could trade it on Uniswap. You can actually deposit VBells into non-KYC, and you can store VBells on your ledger. So what we've seen some people do is they'll vault their bells into VBells and then store it on their ledger because they're a long-term holder, and currently Ledger does not support Bell's coin. So this is their way of basically locking it. And also there's a 25% vaulting discount for any Bells holder, V-Bells holder of 1,000 or more. That was a cool kind of thing that we've been testing out. So what's next here? Televault, the company or the protocol, they're working on this like one-click bridge UI. Again, our whole agenda here is to get this down as simple as possible moving forward. Televault V2, Graham is also teased at. I have no idea actually what that is. And then also he's working on tokenomics for a Televault token, which he said is going to incentivize liquidity providers. Emblem 2.0, we're also going to be working on the bridging process using smart vaults, where this should eliminate any of the friction once that is combined. It's literally as simple as just sending Bell's coin or Bitcoin or whatever, to a vault, and then the vault just issues, the smart vault then just issues V-Bells on the other side. Pretty simple, very exciting. Adam, how excited has the Bell's coin community been about Televault? What's your thoughts on the potential ramifications of a successful application?
I think the funny thing was that people got really excited when they realized that because it's an ERC20, it was in the Coinbase app. People got really excited. Like, it's on Coinbase. I'm like, pump the brakes, man. It's not really on Coinbase. It's on the wallet, right? But that's all just kind of an education thing. I think, I think generally it's regarded like, oh, it's great. Now I can just tell my ETH friends who don't want to figure out how to buy on Bell's coin. I mean, this is why exchanges kind of exists. It's like people don't want to do another wallet. They don't want to figure out another thing. So yeah, it's just an easy way for people who have ETH wallets to just buy, right? I think, most people on ETH have never heard of Bells, right? We're still at the awareness stage of 0 right now on the timeline. So, but that it's there and people can just say, oh, just go buy it here, makes it just really, really nice. If, like you said, if we get up to maybe 100K in liquidity, and then we get some people who are kind of balancing it or taking advantage of being able to hedge it between different exchanges and stuff. We get some price movement and that sort of thing. It's going to be really nice once kind of we're mid bull run here. I think
mid bull run, really exciting times with that. So next, the next few slides will have some pretty major announcements. So
get ready.
Hold everything.
Oh my God, here it is, man. The big one.
I got a few slides for Koval. So the community's been asking about it for a while. We've been building towards it. Kind of the backdrop with Koval, right? Koval started on Counterparty in 2016. Actually, it was its own blockchain before called Ribbit Rewards. So Koval's gone through a lot of changes. It's started as Ribbit Rewards, its own blockchain in 2014. Then Shannon acquired it, moved it to Koval C on Counterparty, which then moved to Ethereum. So it's gone through a bunch of different utility changes. And when Emblem, when the ordinal kind of proliferation happened this year, we realized that, using a native token to requiring a native token to process transactions within the ecosystem, like using Koval to mint vaults, was causing a lot of friction. Actually was turning away a lot of users. So we had to basically bite the bullet here, and we had to basically remove Koval, the tokenomics from the system in order to improve Emblem Vault itself and increase the efficiency. Then obviously Koval was delisted from Coinbase, and it's gone through a bunch of changes. And so, we've been thinking about how to, what are new tokenomics, right? The idea of a utility token is changing, right? We're in a meme coin world right now. More friction, as we was explained, definitely deters users away. And so we are launching what we call right now Koval time locks. So we're releasing time lock vaults, which we've also been teasing for a long time. So what is a time lock vault? A time lock vault's a new DeFi technology that's created by Emblem. And what it is, it gives you the ability to lock assets inside of an NFT for an X amount of time. So we're revealing time lock vaults for the first time using Koval. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your Koval and you're going to lock it in a vault for 1 year. For 1 year, right? So, it sounds like a long time, but locking it in a vault, right, that is tradable, you're kind of creating like a hybrid 404. But I'm not going to get into that because that's another technical kind of dive. But you take this COVOL, which is a fungible token, you lock it into an NFT for a year. Now you have an NFT, and then this NFT is basically going to be the utility pass to the ecosystem. So that's why you lock it for 1 year. It also removes the supply so that if people want COVOL as a utility, right, they can lock it in. If people want to trade COVOL as the fungible token, then they can just go ahead and sit there and not have to deal with it. You can also trade the time lock vault as well. So it gives people a lot of opportunity here. The COVOL time locks will exist as its own ERC 721 collection, and you will vault them on Emblem.vision. Then you could trade them for free on Emblem.markets or OpenSea, etc. So time lock vaults, again, they're just NFTs. So it's an NFT that's basically backed by COVOL itself because you're locking COVOL in the vault. These NFTs or time lock vaults, they could be purchased, sold, or transferred at any time. And then the users who time lock your COVOL, those are the utility benefits that you will receive that will be offered under what we call the expansion program, which we're going to be announcing some other details here shortly, and then more details over the coming months about what this actually means. The expansion program is just the idea is we're adding gamification, utility, rewards, incentives, etc. as Emblem, grows Emblem 2.0 and expands all these different chains. So what's the first utility? It's just a new discount program. If you lock 5,000 COVOL, you receive a 10% vaulting fee discount. That's for vaulting, jumping, and unvaulting. If you lock 50,000, you'll get a 25% discount. And then if you lock 500,000, you'll get a 60% discount. So you'll be doing transactions for about $8. If you lock 500,000, which I think is roughly like $1,000 USD right now, the COVOL market cap is quite low. It's taken quite a dive from the peak on Coinbase. Adam, give us your take on the power of time lock vaults.
Bro, I have no idea. Right? It's like, yeah, I mean, this is, again, it's new technology that, I mean, we've talked about, just talking with VCs and this sort of thing, and just people in the space, we realize like there's a need for this. Right now, there's a need for this. Just with any utility token right now, it's kind of like, it's trust me, bro. It's whatever. The Solana Foundation, holds all this thing. Yeah, but they're giving it out or they're not giving it out or who has it. It's like, this is just, I just think there's like this massive need for this. Us rolling it out here kind of first, just showing first use case. I'm very, very excited just as a B2B type product that this is going to be something really substantial. Like you can use this on all chains. Like this is just a drop dead simple use case that teams will use for their token allocations. Like, why wouldn't you do it in a transparent way on chain? It just makes sense. So this is one of those low hanging fruits that just is ready now. The market's ready for this right now.
Chris, what's your take on time lock vaults? What are some like simple use cases that you think will have some profound impacts?
Yeah, the one that comes to mind, Adam said, I don't know who would use this, but or who wouldn't use this, but the teams that wouldn't use it are the nefarious teams that
are the shady ones. Yeah, exactly.
So there's plenty of them. I mean, they did a test. They were back testing vesting schedules, and like you said, it's all trust me, bro. So like for the past 10 years, all of these teams throughout the entire industry were just selling tokens at will, not even abiding by any of the vesting schedules. So it was always a trust me, bro system. There was just no incentives to really be honest. And now finally we're bringing to the market some actual structure that allows there to be true honesty and transparency. So this is one of the promises of crypto that is just kind of not obvious right now, but I mean, so many of these vaults or these tokens are going to be time locked going to the future. So this is a huge application. And like Adam said earlier, just a small part of Emblem. That's what makes it so exciting.
Yes, I'm excited. Some other cool things with time locks you could do is like do on-chain futures, where if I lock a Bitcoin in a time lock vault, right, and lock it for a year, now people could speculate on the future price of Bitcoin while this Bitcoin is locked for the X amount of time. So there's really all kinds of cool stuff. And once we do this on ETH, we could do this on Solana, we could do it on Bitcoin, etc. So you can time lock some rare Pepes, right? But then you can also trade them as well, which is really, really cool. So moving on to the next slide, a big announcement here. As many know, Emblem Vault has etched Emblem Vault keys on the first day that Runes was launched. And we did that with a purpose because, you know, we believed in a fungible token ecosystem on Bitcoin. We also wanted to see, you know, where the success would go. And so, you know, I'm excited to share that Koval is going to be returning home to Bitcoin, and Koval will be migrating 2 keys, which is a rune, under the Emblem expansion program. So that might sound like a lot, right? As we mentioned, you know, Emblem has done this now multiple times, as it has here on the screen. Went from a counterparty in 2016 to ETH in 2019, and we'll be going to runes in 2025. So, you know, Koval has we've saved a portion of the total supply of keys for Koval holders who time lock, and you'll need to time lock, and I'll get into some of the details on the next slide. But I would like to just go through and explain the reasonings of why leave ETH to then go to a Bitcoin fungible token ecosystem. And so I'm gonna go through a few reasons here. So Emblem, as we expand under Emblem 2.0, Emblem needs a native token on each major chain system, I should say. So like for Emblem on Bitcoin, it needs a Bitcoin token. For Emblem on Ethereum, we need an EVM token. For Emblem on Solana, we need an SPL20 token. And so thinking about that, you know, Emblem's a Bitcoin product that requires a Bitcoin token. Thinking about it from a technical standpoint, you know, Bitcoin is an export-only chain, but mostly exports, right? It exports NFTs, fungible tokens, where ETH and Solana generally like import things. And so from a technical standpoint, you know, you can take your runes and we can use Televault and we could bridge it to Ethereum and Solana. So you can have keys on ETH, you can have keys on Solana while having the native token of keys on Bitcoin. But you can't go the other way. You can't issue a token on Solana or Ethereum and bridge it to Bitcoin in a technically feasible way. And so just thinking of that technically, that makes sense. You also think about how Emblem started on Bitcoin and how we're a long-term believer in runes and Bitcoin. This year, over the last 2 years, you've seen that proliferation of the Bitcoin ecosystem, from meta protocols to fungible tokens to liquidity, right, to ordinals to runes, etc. You know, Bitcoin's a $1.4 trillion liquidity pool now, and runes is showing itself that it is going to be, or likely will be, the winning fungible token protocol. It is the most decentralized. The application layer is decentralized. Casey, who's the creator, you know, has said that runes is essentially a completed product. So there's likely not much more changes that are coming. And people are starting to catch on to runes. So with that, you know, now looking at, you know, the potential of the Bitcoin side, and, you know, how Emblem is mostly a Bitcoin product with, you know, 80% of our TVL being Bitcoin NFTs, you think about why leave Ethereum and why migrate over to Bitcoin. So Koval and ETH, you know, it's now had 5 years of history going back to 2019. It's lacking liquidity on Ethereum, right? So when these fungible tokens get really low in market demand, you have people who pull the LP out of the trading pools, which then means that nobody can trade, which means then you need people to provide liquidity. So then this puts like a very tough burden on the team who runs Koval or who runs the Ethereum token to say, you know, you're trying to build a business, but you all also need to provide liquidity for this token, even if it's lacking demand. And then also you have to worry about exchange support. And obviously Koval was removed from or delisted from Coinbase and some of these other ones because, as I mentioned earlier, we had to make the decision to remove Koval in order to scale the company, right? So, part of that was a tough decision that had to be made that had some ramifications. Then you look at, the market sentiment surrounding utility tokens has completely changed, right? Nobody wants utility tokens right now. Nobody wants tokens on Ethereum right now. Nobody wants Ethereum right now, right? That doesn't mean that it'll change, like that'll be like that forever. But, kind of really just reading the room here, right? Everyone's migrating to Bitcoin and Solana for probably the near future. I don't think it'll be that way forever, but Ethereum has some growing pains that it has to undergo. And as I mentioned before, being on Bitcoin, we can obviously bridge it to Ethereum and Solana afterwards once market conditions has improved. So with that, with the sentiment low, liquidity low, the changing space of utility tokens, to revive a fungible token for the Emblem Vault ecosystem, it needs a new narrative, it needs excitement, and it needs direction. And with that, Emblem has, again, we've undergo migrations multiple times on the fungible token side and on the non-fungible token side with the NFT migration. You just really got to, read the room. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, Koval on ETH is like basically dead. Like, and, it's tough to say as somebody who's running a company, but, you got to be honest here, is that, there's no liquidity. You can't trade this thing. And we have this opportunity to, tap into Emblem's community, which is on Bitcoin, right? 80% of our TVL is on Bitcoin. Our influence, our show is on Bitcoin. It makes sense to move there as this ecosystem is at a $2 billion market cap. And most assume that it will grow quite large over time.
Yeah, man.
What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, Koval holders just want price to go up. And this gives it an opportunity to take part in price going up, right? We'll get into more details here, but this is the opportunity to do something else with it. And, you have the option not to. You don't have to vault your Koval in the time lock vault. You can keep it as is. You can make that choice, but this is the way Emblem's going forward. And if you believe in Emblem and the team and what we're building, this is our way forward.
Exciting times. I'm actually really excited about it. A whole new ecosystem. Emblem gets to return home, or Koval gets to return home, right? It's going to be rebranded as Keys, but really, really exciting. So the third slide here and final for Koval is, okay, so how do I do this then? If I want to migrate and I want to participate in what's going on here, what do I do? So literally all you got to do is you just got to vault your Koval. You can even go buy, if you want to buy a Koval and vault it, right? Because you think that's where the upside's going to be. Then, you take your Koval in installments of 5,000, 50,000, or 500,000, and then you're going to time lock it into our Koval time lock collection, which will be available beginning tomorrow. And it's on OpenSea. You can just go type in Koval time locks on OpenSea. You can see the collection is there. It's live right now. We were going to have it live today. We had a few kind of technical hurdles, which is being worked on currently. So you're going to lock your Koval for a year. And then what's going to happen, right? Inside of this vault, there's going to be a ETH address, and then there's going to be a Taproot address. And so at some point after March 31st, 2025, that's when the Koval time lock vaulting will close. These vaults will be airdropped the keys inside of it. So once the vault unlocks, then you'll have the keys, and then Koval will essentially be retired. The migration will undergo to Keys, and you'll have it there. The cool part, though, here, this is where we get to add some gamification, is that, after March 31st, once we airdrop the keys in there, you could trade these time lock vaults with the keys inside of it. So essentially, you could speculate on the value of where everything is going. If you like where Emblem is, 5 months from now, then maybe people just go up and buy up all this stuff because they think keys will be very valuable. maybe, runes over the next 6 months, market cap goes from 2 billion to 200 billion. And then you're just like, oh, right, this is one of the original Bitcoin companies. Maybe the speculative value of where it is much higher than what these people are vaulting these prices at. So, a lot of potential upside there, because you could grow with Emblem, you could grow with runes, you get to grow with Bitcoin. I always thought a bet on Bitcoin is, a pretty safe bet here. So some notes here. The Koval time locking will open up tomorrow. We'll have some tutorials for you. It is pretty straightforward. You're just going to go to emblem.vision, find the Koval time lock option, and then you're just going to vault you're going to send either 5,000, 50,000, or 500,000 to the vault. The denominations that you vault, so if you vault 500,000, then you will get a higher share of the keys airdrop. We will share tokenomics at the next town hall, which is December 5th, 2025, because that's when we would host it, is during Thanksgiving. So will it be December 5th, I believe, or December 4th? Keep in mind here that, the longer you wait to time lock your Koval, the longer it's going to delay, right? So if I begin to vault tomorrow, then it'll unlock on November 1st, 2025, right? Then you could be one of the first Koval people to, get access to keys. Again, there's a much larger plan that's going on here, which we're going to share at the next town hall as well. Koval is one of, I believe, 7 groups or so that is going to participate in earning keys in a variety of ways. There's a program that we have. There's also a way to purchase them. There's also a way to receive an airdrop of past behaviors. So Koval, since they've been with the community the longest, you have the option to participate in it first and foremost. The percentage of the total key supply that's reserved for Koval, we'll reveal that at a later date. It's not a small amount. I have to say it's actually a pretty fair amount that's equal to, the market cap and where we think everything's going. And then fuel holders. So if you're a fuel holder, which is a token that even predates Koval on ETH, if you hold fuel, you also have a percentage of the keys airdrop, and there's no action required. So we will talk with you guys separately about how to go about that process. Again, you are reserved a percentage of the keys and no action required from fuel holders. If anyone has any questions about this, you can literally just DM us. But we're also going to be releasing a lot more information now that this town hall has happened, through my account, through Adam's account, through Chris's account, through the Emblem account, etc., to make it easy, because I know it is a lot of information to take in. So we'll try to break it down step by step by step.
I think the one question that a holder would have was, okay, well, I have a 1,165,000 Koval. Can I just put it all in one vault and then I'll be rewarded proportionally? And I think the answer is yes to that. So just to clarify,
no, the answer is no. You need to do it in the amounts.
Oh, you have to do it actually in the million amount, or the million.
Yeah, it's an accounting thing.
Okay.
Which is why we did the specific amounts. It just makes it much less friction on the other side, but also from a trading perspective, just diving in a little bit. When you think about like the gamification of it, the people are going to trade these vaults, and so we'll have different images on the 3 different amounts. And so if you have like 3,000 different amounts, it'll probably deteriorate. It'll be a nightmare trying to trade it, because you're trying to figure it out. It reduces a lot of the scams as well. People trying to figure it out. People, as you know, people always try to figure out different ways with a vault to trick people. So just having 3 amounts, right? Our whole goal here is like everything through Emblem 2.0 is like trying to simplify it, right? Simplify the vaulting process, simplify the migration transition. Although I know the information's dense, but we'll try to. So yeah, just those three amounts. So if you have
the best strategy then for a person is vault the largest amount first, and then you're going to get the 60% discount on any other vault you create, correct?
Yep.
And so then you can vault, do any other vaults you need to make, and you're going to get that 60% discount on any other vault you make.
Yep. Just think of the weight though of the keys airdrop. So if you vault 500,000, right, versus 5,000, then obviously that's what, 100 to 1, 10,000 to 1. I don't know, my math is bad, but it's equal weight across, right? So if you're vaulting 50,000 to 500,000, then that's obviously a 10 to 1 ratio there. And we have a whole portion of the keys supply is reserved for Koval. It is a double-digit amount. I will say that until we release more information. So, Koval is not being left out. Actually, is the first community that's being considered, and this is the way that we're going to migrate it over. One of the reasons also is the reason why we have to do this with the time lock is, Koval is an Ethereum asset. Keys is a Bitcoin asset. You can't directly airdrop. You can't directly airdrop an Ethereum asset or a Bitcoin asset to an Ethereum wallet. So we get to use our own technology to do this. And here is actually, if you type in Koval time locks, this is just the image that you see here on OpenSea. It's the same information that we shared, but it's directly on OpenSea. Just type in Koval time locks. And so expansion program, right? If the Koval migration is under the expansion program, then what the fuck is the expansion program? So the expansion program is Emblem's multi-year campaign that will include new tokenomics, new vault systems, new cross-chain products, new incentives, our expansion to every notable UTXO, EVM, and SVM system. Right? Emblem 2.0 is the base layer of our expansion. So all vaults that will be created, will be Emblem 2.0 vaults. The interactions to all these chains, it's all under the Emblem 2.0 expansion. And we've been building towards this since we began Emblem 1.0 migration, July 14th, 2023. So almost a year and a half ago is when we began really theorizing on how to make this possible. What are the goals here? So the goal, some internal goals is to grow the TVL or TVV, we like to call it, from 100 million, where it's at, to 1 billion. So 10x the TVV. We'd like to 10x the vaults minted. So we're at 100,000 vaults that have been minted. We want to get to 1 million vaults minted. We currently have 22,000 unique wallets or unique wallets that own a vault. We'd like to get that up to 100,000 unique wallets. And then we're currently on 3 blockchains. We'd like to be on 10 new blockchains. But realistically, I think we could get up to probably 20 or 25 by the end of the expansion program. And then, when's the next town hall? When can I learn about the tokenomics and some more information about everything? That'll be at our next town hall on December 5th, 2024, which is the Thursday after Thanksgiving. And so, without that, after that long explanation, I know it was a little dense. We'll see you guys in December.